Hello everyone! Some of you have requested video showing my Space Engineers Automatic LCDs in-game script in action, so here it is. First of all, what is this Automatic LCDs script about? It's in-game script that you can put into programmable block and it will automatically update set of LCDs with dynamic information about your ship or station. It will automatically scroll the LCD if needed. Thanks to the fact that it is in-game script, it will work on single player and multiplayer, vanilla as well as most modded games. You can even use it in your vanilla blueprints, and people using your blueprint will not have to download any mods to use it. Now, let's start with simple setup. Here we have small platform with some small reactors, one large reactor, some batteries, some solar panels, some cargo containers, some refineries, and some assemblers. Let's start by creating programmable block. Next thing we will need is timer block. Let's put that one here. Now, open the control panel on the programmable block. Press the edit button to edit the script. You can see that there is an empty script here. Press the browse workshop button. You will see list of all scripts that you have subscribed or created. You will find the Configurable Automatic LCDs somewhere in the list. Select it and press OK. Of course, you first need to subscribe to that item in Steam Workshop. You can find the link in the video description. Now that we have the script loaded, we need to compile it by pressing Check Code button. Compilation successful, we can press OK. Now we press the Remember and Exit button and exit the control panel. Programmable block is now prepared. Let's head to the timer block. Open the control panel of the timer block and set the delay to 1. Now click Setup Actions to set up the actions of the timer block. First action of the timer block will run our programmable block, so we'll find programmable block in the list of blocks and put it into the first action. Select Run action. Next, we need to run the timer block, so the second action will be timer block and start, which will start the 1 second timer and run the script again. We can now close the timer block actions setup. Timer block is now prepared. We can press start to start the timer. You should see timer ticking each second. We can close the terminal and you can see that the timer is ticking. That means that it's running correctly. Our script is now prepared to be used. Let's create our first LCD panel. Let's open the control screen by pressing K. We need to rename the LCD panel and add the left square bracket LCD, right square bracket to the end of the name of our LCD. The script only handles LCDs, which are marked this way. Next thing we need to do is set font size to 0.8 for scrolling feature to work correctly. The LCD is now prepared. We need to add command for LCD to show. Let's start with simple one, showing us the power usage of our platform. We do this by entering the command into LCD public title, like this. we just entered command power. Let's close the control panel. As we can see, the LCD is showing our power summary. First, we can see is reactor output, which is output of the reactors there. Next, we can see the solar output, which is output of these solar panels. And next, we can see battery status. We can see that there is no power stored in our batteries. Because they are not set to charge. Let's set them to recharge. We should now see the power stored is going up. Now all the batteries are fully charged. Final line we can see is total output, which is sum of all your power generating components. We can also enter multiple commands to the LCD. Let's say we would also like to see number of reactors, solar panels and batteries on this LCD. We can do that by using semicolon. Semicolon is used as a separator between commands. So our first command is power and our next command is block count. For block count, we need to enter a partial name of blocks we are interested in or simple asterisk to show all blocks. Following arguments in block count specify the type of the blocks we are interested in. We want to see reactors, solar panels, and batteries. As you can see, LCD is now showing us everything we asked it to. But it doesn't look very good. I think it needs an empty line between those two. Let's add that. Here we add echo command between the power and block count commands. Echo command will simply print out empty line. This nicely separates our two sections. Let me also add another command. Let's separate it by empty line. As you can see, we can now also see the cargo space of our station. As you can see, the cargo space shows 0%. That's because we are in the creative mode and the storage is very high. But believe me that the percentage works. Let's create new LCD panel now. We will make this one display inventory of our platform. So, we need to set the name of the LCD panel. We need to set the font size to 0.8. And we need to set the command. The command for showing the inventory is called inventory. Without any argument, this command shows all items in all inventories. It also has some default quota set, so you can see nice progress bars of how many items you have. As you can see, LCD is also scrolling very nicely. Most of the commands use first argument as name filter for blocks that should be considered by the command. So if we only want to show inventory of our small containers, we can specify name filter small. This will show summary of all items in all blocks which contain small in their name. So it's showing inventories of small containers and small reactors. You can see we can also specify multiple words by enclosing them into curly brackets, like this. This will only show items from blocks that are named small cargo or contain small cargo in their name. As you can see, it matches this. So now we can see only cargo of small containers. You can see that only 2K of uranium ingots instead of 2.1K we saw before, that came from the reactors. This name filtering mechanism works the same way for all commands except for a few that do not work with blocks, like echo or time. Remember, first argument of command is name filter, not type, name filter. Now let's say we want to see only ingots. We can do that by adding plus ingot. You can see that the LCD is now showing only ingots. Scrap is considered ingot by the game. If we want to also display, for example, steel plates, we can do that by adding steel plate. Now the LCD will show us also the steel plate in the component summary. Let's remove that. So remove that and start with something else. Let's say I want to look into all inventories and I want to see all items except for ores. Ores are always listed at the top. So we will wait. Ores are always displayed in ingots summary. As you can see, the ingot summary is at the top, so the ores are not listed separately. You can also specify a specific item, like iron ore, like this. Now you can see the display is showing only the iron ore. Because we don't have any quota set by default for ores, it doesn't show the progress bar. We can override the quota like this. We just set our iron ore quota to 500. As you can see, there is a progress bar now. But because we have quite a lot of iron, it's full. We can also show, for example, uranium ingot. And we can see number of our uranium ingots. As you can see, this number is higher than we saw before, because the large container there is also counted now. As you can see, the maximum quota for a uranium ingot is set to 10k. We can override it like this. As you can see, the progress bar updated in real time to reflect our newly set quota. You can find much more info about how commands are used in the commands guide on the Steam Workshop page. Let me now show you some more stuff that this script can do. Let's create 2 more LCDs. Let's rename them and set the font size. Okay. Let's make first one report how our refineries are working by using command working, which will list all the blocks with their working status. We want to look into all blocks and we want to list only refineries. It will look for all refineries regardless of their name. And it shows us a nice list where we can see which refineries are turned off, which are working, and which are idle. We currently don't have any refineries turned off, but we can try that. As you can see, the refinery is now reported as off. Second one is working, because it has something to do. The third one is idle, because there are no ores processed by it. Let's make it also display our assemblers. Bam! We can see that all our assemblers are idle. Let's make some work on something. As you can see, first assembler is now marked as working. Now for the second LCD, I wanted to show any damaged blocks on our platform. We can use damage command for that. Like this. Now you can see that none of our blocks are damaged. So let's damage one of them and see if it shows up on the panel. Oops. So let's damage one of them and see if it shows up. Here we go. The damaged block is now visible on the panel. Let's try to repair it. No damaged blocks found. As you can see, all our LCDs are nicely working, showing the stuff we told them to. And we didn't even have to touch the programmable block. Okay, I think this is it for this video. I was showing only some features of the script, so if you liked what you saw here, don't hesitate and head to the Steam Workshop link that you can find in the video description and try it yourself. I'm really looking forward to see your awesome creations using this script in some creative ways even I didn't think of when making it. Thank you all very much for watching, and have fun!